I don't have any tooth. I'll admit it. I will brag. Those players did not just go and whip that ass for us to be like, oh, good game. No, we whipped your ass. We took $800,000. Now we're partying with it.
Yeah, who cares if you're in the Power 5 conference if you don't win it, ever? Or you don't beat any of the teams in it? Like, what's the point of that? Wouldn't you rather win the conference and say, like, hey, my team is good, than lose the conference and say, well, our conference is good?
Well, I tell you what, I got two teams that got me gassed up. It's going to be a hell of a battle. Be like two dogs fighting over a milk bun.
Look, they don't call me Tip for nothing. And my tip is, look out for the group of 5 this season. They've been taking it to the Power 5 year after year.
The only quarterbacks that ever get any love are from the Power 5. I could easily list off the top group of 5 quarterbacks I would rather have than those guys. I would be willing to bet that at least one of them is going to be in the running for the Heisman this year.
It is a great day to be alive. Ladies and gentlemen, we have college football next week. Next week, week 0 begins. By the time you're listening to this, it'll be about a week and a half out from college football. That is correct, Jesse Grisham. August 26th, I believe it is. So that would be next Saturday. Yes.
Not this Saturday, the Saturday after Saturday.
Next week, not this week. Next week, there will be.
If you say next Saturday, people are going to think you're meaning this Saturday coming up in 6 days.
No, that'd be this Saturday.
That would be this Saturday.
I would say there's football Saturday.
Sorry.
What an awesome start. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Mountain West Conference preview for y'all tonight. If you didn't catch the last couple episodes, our MAC preview, our Conference USA preview, and our American preview are on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You guys make sure you like and subscribe to those channels. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Group of 5 Guys. I'm fired up. I can't wait. I'm itching. We got a big-time show for you tonight. We got a big-time couple weeks for you guys, just to preview it. We got Colorado State offense coordinator Matt Mumme coming on later on this week. Next week, we got App State head coach Sean Clark coming to join us when we do our Sun Belt preview. And then we're going to have Murph's boy Jay Vandy, who is an elite responsible gambler, that will be joining us right before week 1, give us some tips on how to place bets, how to make some money this season. Want to go around the horn and see how everybody is doing. Jesse Grisham, you look fantastic. How are you?
I'm good, man. Fired up to be here. Excited for the Mountain West. It's a challenging conference because of all the changes that's been happening in that conference with coaches and players. But last year we saw some hella good talent, and there's gonna be some good talent there this coming 2022 season. So really excited. I'm sorry, I'm kind of a little baffled. I can't believe football's that close. When you said next Saturday, it kind of took me back a little bit. I'm fired up because high school football starts like this Friday.
Yep.
And I'm going to try my damnedest to try to get back to watch a Spain Park game. They play Calera at home. Go Jags. Fired up for it. But glad to be here, Sprouse. It's going to be a good show.
Yeah, I'm with you on high school. I may take my boy to go watch Phoenix City Central this Friday night. So I think they're number 4 or 5 in the state of Alabama. So should be a pretty good team. Go to you, Tip. How are you tonight?
I'm doing amazing. Non-football related, Braves have a big series this week with the Mets. At the time of this recording, we're 5.5 games out of first place in the NL East. So we play 4 games this week. So we'll see how that goes. I am super excited about Mountain West this for tonight, and we got 5 Mountain West teams playing on week 0. So excited to talk about it. Excited to talk about these teams and who we think's going to do well this year.
Ain't no doubt. Yeah, week 0. There's actually some decent games, some decent group of 5 games. I know it's not Mountain West, but I'm really pumped about that Charlotte, Florida Atlantic game. Week 0 is a big one in the conference game too for them. Go over to you, Zeke. You look fantastic as always. How are you?
I am well. Fired up. Love the Mountain West.
You know, last year when we came into this, we looked at the Vegas odds and we're like, why do they have all these teams at 7.5 and 6.5? You're like, this can't play out. It's because that's how tight it is in the Mountain West. So very, very tough conference, very competitive. Excited to talk about it.
Yeah, no question. The Mountain West is kind of forgotten. I guess it's that East Coast bias. But everybody's talking about the Sun Belt, you know, being so regional and great rivalries, etc. But the Mountain West, if they stay put, as long as none of these guys decide to jump ship and go to the Pac-12 or the Big 12, which they probably will, this conference is really good. Last but not least, Jeff Murphy. How are you, sir?
Look, nobody's forgot about the Mountain West Conference, okay? Mountain West, Mountain Best. They throw the ball all over the yard. It's going to be one of the most best conferences in the Group of 5 this year. Can't wait to talk about them. I got my Spartans hat on, representing for the Bay Area. Think they're going to be a pretty good team this year, better than they had last year. But it's going to be a great episode. Can't wait to get into it. We do have a voicemail this week that we had one of our fans call in. And, guys, we want to hear your hottest takes. We want to hear what you got to say. I mean, you guys are so many schools. Sometimes you guys got the better inside track than we do. So give us a call, 615-900-4286. Give us with your hottest take, whatever you got. If we're wrong, I'm still waiting. I want somebody to call in and call Swag Bear out and just let it go. Let the emotions fly.
Good opportunity. I'm going to say something wrong today. I promise you that.
Let it fly. Let it fly. So, Sprouse, whenever we're ready, I'll play that voicemail and we'll get into it.
Can I say one thing though?
Absolutely.
It just popped in my head when we're talking about forgetting about the Mountain West. you know, the MAC has MAC Tuesdays, right? Maction, Tuesday night Mactions. I feel Mountain West had its own like late Saturday night.
Yeah.
Like drunk man's paradise. Because whenever 10 at 11 o'clock, it's only the freaking first quarter for a football game Saturday night. I'm watching San Jose State play Hawaii. I am fired up. And it's just, they have their own Saturday night. I mean, I know the Pac-12 does it too, but I'd rather watch Mountain West.
And Grish, how many times are you about a case deep? The game hadn't quite kicked off yet.
I never know who wins those games.
The game hadn't quite kicked off yet. You know what? I'm feeling pretty good about San Jose State. I'm going to drop a little money on it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You know, the liquid courage is going, and you end up waking up the next morning because you pass out at 11 o'clock. The game's still going, and either the money's in there or the money's out.
Yeah. And he's looking, he's scrolling. He says, "What are these half points on here?"
It's true though. Yeah, you fall asleep in those games. You wake up and you're just like. You're afraid to unlock your phone. You're like, please, God. Please, God.
Tell me I did not bet on that game.
Mountain West is either where all the house money's at or where everything you're chasing to get back.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the best. You get those FS1, late night games. You've been betting all day.
Yep.
And you're either up big and you're like, let's double it, or you're down, let's win it back.
And you know who's always
you become the biggest
games?
Hawaii fan in the country.
or when all your parlays have hit and you just have that late.
Oh, you just want to double up.
Yeah.
And you're like,
And for some reason, what's that dude? Petros Papadakis? He's always calling those late night West Coast games.
See, those guys are good though. That's better than the ESPN guys that they put on the niche games.
It's better than a niche.
It is, man. Anyway, before we get off the rails here. Yeah, Jeff, if you've got that voicemail ready to go, it's from a resident Raging Cajun fan, so I can't wait to hear it.
Former offensive lineman, Raging Cajun.
That's what I'm talking about.
So let's get into it.
Hey, Group of 5 guys. This is Terry Johnson. I've been following you guys for a long time now. I played football at Louisiana from 2012, 2013, 2014, went to Utah before that. I just wanted to call and say I'm a big fan and give you my take on the season. First of all, I know what you guys are going to say. You're going to say that Louisiana lost too much. And we lost. We did. We lost Billy Napier, who was a great coach for us, gave us a lot of things. And we're going to have to, replace a lot of seniors that either transferred or went to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? But I just got to say, man, like I have a hot take. We are still most likely going to win 9 to 10 games this year. That Marshall game is going to be tough. And, of course, the Florida State game is going to be tough because those guys are pretty talented. But I don't anticipate us losing that many games because I feel that we have a lot of talent that Napier recruited. I trust Mike Desimo. He was a coach right when I left. Was assistant coach under Coach Hud, and he was there a little bit before I got there. So, like, seeing Coach Mike Desimo there, just so you know, it's pronounced Desermo. People want to say Desormo. I'm not Cajun. My wife is. So, you know, I get talked to about how to say, you know, Cajun names all the time. But I trust in Coach Des. I trust in the athletic director, Brian Maggott. I trust in our fans. And I think Coach Des is going to still keep this going, man. I think he's still going to recruit. He's still going to keep the fan base going. And if you have heard his press conference when he got chosen for the job and got the job, he said this is personal, and this is personal for him. This job is personal for him because he loves this university. He loves the Acadiana area. Like, that's who he is. He was basically the Tim Tebow of UL. Like, the guy was just an all-star. Everybody knew this guy's name. He ran the ball all the time, could throw a little bit. He had so much respect from the entire, like, university and his teammates. And he still does to this day. Guys I know that played with him and played for him. So just so you know, long story short, like, UL is going to be in good hands. You know, like I said, got a lot to replace, but we're going to recruit. We have still a lot of great guys remaining. And just so you know, that running back room we still have, even though we lost some of our top 2 rushers, they're still going to put up numbers. Like, they're still going to put up numbers. That O-line is still going to dominate. That defense is still going to dominate. Thank y'all. Have a great day. Love the podcast. You guys keep up the great work. Hope to hear this on the podcast one day. Sorry this took too long. God bless.
Terry, man, appreciate the call. That was awesome. We always love it, man. Former players call in. That's what it's about. What do you guys think?
He's been following us, being like
One of the OGs,
from
yeah.
day one. And,
Yep.
He tweets me a lot. I tweeted him. Good dude. Liked his attitude. That's one thing, and I kind of wish that we were talking about Sunbelt now, but one thing Louisiana, the best thing they have going for them this year is their fan base. They're loyal fans. That's what's going to get them back to where they need to be. He's very confident. Kind of reminds me of a Jeff Murphy going for his Blue Raiders, going undefeated kind of deal. Because I'm sorry, Terry, I do not see that happening for y'all this year. But we'll talk about them next week. But love the call. Love the call. Love the follow.
Yeah, I mean, Terry, you said it. You know what we're gonna say, and we'll get in detail on the cages. I'll say this now though: their schedule's favorable. They don't have App out of the East. I think out of the East they have Marshall and Georgia Southern, and then their non-conference: Eastern Michigan, I think Southeast Louisiana, and then Florida State. Florida State ain't very good, dude. Especially that's like second to last game of the year. So
Eastern Michigan's probably their hardest game. So.
I was gonna say I think you called Eastern Michigan being real good, but yeah, we'll see. I don't think it's that Louisiana's gonna drop off that much. I think there's just other teams in the West that are gonna be that much better this year. But
when you have a head coach that's a former player and knows the culture of the school and the team, that always helps. So I honestly don't think that they're gonna drop off much, if not at all, from when Napier was there.
Yeah, good point. I didn't realize Coach Des had been there that long. So, Terry, you might have made us a believer.
That's right.
In the Cajuns there. But again, thanks for the call, man. And thanks for being with us. I mean, he was there, Jesse, when we had like 5 or 6 followers. I think we'll have to go look and see him, Rocket Ryan, and those guys been around for a minute. So thank you. Let's get into this Mountain West deal. So we're going to do it a little bit differently. Each of us are basically going to go around and sell the other 4, kind of a buy or sell, believe it or not type of deal on whether we think they're going to go over or under where Vegas thinks they're going to be. We're going to start with probably the 5 favorites, the 5 top dogs from last year. These odds came from DraftKings. Starting with you, Jesse. Defending champions, Utah State University. Vegas has them dropping off to 7 wins. They went 11-3 last year. What do you got? Sell us.
Gentlemen, Utah State, champions of last year, coached by Blake Anderson, which, by the way, I really like Blake Anderson. I did a lot of research on him. That guy He's been he's a winner. He won 2 Sun Belt championships with Arkansas State. Had something horrible happen in 2019 when his wife passed away. But he comes to Utah State, wins 11 games, and beats Oregon State in a bowl game. You don't win 11 games, guys, and just drop off. Yes, did you have some guys leave? But they have a winning culture there right now. And last year, their offense was terrific. They did like 446 yards of offense is what they did, average per game. Because Logan Bonner was there, he threw 36 touchdowns. So Logan Bonner, he was a beast. He's going to be gone. Levi Williams from Wyoming, he's transferring over. The guy's a dual threat quarterback. He scored 26 touchdowns. 13 was running, 13 were passing. The receivers, they lost 3 key receivers, so they're going to have a little bit of a rebuild at the receiver spot. Also, Tompkins, Bowling, and Wright, but they bringing in Brian Cobbs from Maryland, and they have Justin McGriff, who is a veteran, should be getting a lot of targets. Micah James, Coach Micah. Here we go, dude. Your O-line, they were solid last year. You won the conference championship. You got your guys coming back, and they have a potential NFL left tackle. He's all-conference tackle. Name is Alfred Edwards. Guy's a beast, and they also have a potential all-conference right guard in Quasi White. So the offense, I think, guys, they're going to run the ball real well behind that O-line. So I think their offense is going to be okay. Defense, they struggled last year. Their offense is what won them games last year. Defense, they got some key play. They gave up almost 400 yards a game. That's how bad they were. That's how good their offense was last year compared to how bad their defense was. But I think their defense is going to be a little better than they were last year because of the guys they brought in. They got a safety coming in from Miami, Gervin Hall, and their defensive line is coming back from last year. So with that being said, I see a lot of experience coming back on defense. Offense is a little bit rebuild, but if you have a strong O-line, anything is possible. So I think they have them at 7 wins. I have Utah State going 8 wins because they're going to get that first win right off the bat, week 0 against UConn. Yes. Do they go to Alabama week 1? Will they lose that game? Yes. Are they playing probably the best team in college football? Yes. Is that going to help them down the line because they played possibly the best team out there? Yes. They're going to win 8 games, I believe. I got 8 games, 8-4 for the Utah State Aggies.
I like it, dude. Blake Anderson, man, that guy has been through it. You can't help but root for that guy. And then obviously we love Micah James, so you can't help root for him. I'm with you. I got him over as well, Jess. I think they may win 9. Murph, what do you think?
Actually got the push. I think they're going to be at 7 wins. I could see him winning 8. I just think with the Mountain West being what it is, you get these matchups, man, it can go either way. These teams kind of end up knocking each other off, and I got him at 7 wins. And I think Micah James's tweet is the reason why their offensive line is so good.
And Sprouse, before you move on, I wish I would have said this earlier. I'm sorry. I said they're going to play Alabama. That's going to be one of the best teams they're going to play, and it's going to help them experience for the rest of the season. Key game that's going to determine their season, I think it's going to help them get to that 8 or even more, is going to be at BYU. That mid-season game right there. If they can win that game, which I do have them winning, I think they win at least another game they're not supposed to. So that BYU game is going to be huge.
They do get the benefit. Everybody typically they play Alabama and you just end up being beat up, and it kind of hurts you for the rest of the year. But fortunately for Utah State, they play Bama and then they play Weber State and then they're off. So they're kind of going to have a 2-week, and then they're UNLV, so that should be a relatively winnable game, and then they're at BYU. So yeah, I'm with you. Their schedule sets up nice for them.
Yeah.
With that. So, Tip, what do you think?
Yeah, I think 7 wins on the line is too low. I have them winning 8 games, just like Jesse does. Have to go to Hawaii. Always tough. I have them winning that game, but we've seen how teams can go down to Hawaii and lose when they're favored or should win. But I actually have them winning that game. But I just think 7 is way too low for this good of a team. So I have them. I have the over at 8 wins.
Zeke.
I like over 6.5, so I guess I'm gonna have to go with the push. I see Connecticut. I see a loss at Alabama. I see a win at Weber, and UNLV. We'll talk about them a little bit later, but
Oh boy.
Random Rebels.
BYU, Colorado State, and Wyoming are going to be dogfights. So I think they get after New Mexico, and then Hawaii is, pretty much how they play when they're on the road. But other than that, I don't see 8. So I'll take the push at 7.
I like it. Going to a team that actually was sort of a letdown last year at 7-5. Vegas seems to think they are the favorite by a long shot this year. Boise State's at 9.5. Tip, what do you think?
Looking at them coming into this season, they have some starters coming back, but they also lost a lot of key starters from last year. Like you mentioned, they went 7-5. The reverse of Utah State, I think 9.5 is too high. I have them under, but just barely. I have them winning 9 games this year. Their quarterback, Hank Backmeyer, is back. He threw for over 3,000 yards last year, 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Lost their top receiver, though. Khalil Shakir is now in the NFL. So there's 77 receptions, 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns that are gone that need to be replaced. But Stephon Cobbs, he's the next wide receiver up. I think he's going to do really well this season. We're excited to watch him play. If you can get a healthy George Holani at running back this year, I think that's going to help their ground game quite a bit. He was limited to 9 games last season, had about 700 total yards, averaged right under 5 yards per carry, which was great numbers for a running back. Their defense is going to be good again. That was their biggest strength last season. They're returning 8 starters. They only allowed 19 points per game last year. They only allowed 12 touchdowns through the air, and that secondary is coming back. So they're going to be – the defense is going to keep them in a lot of games, and I think their offense can score enough points. They scored 29 points a game last year. So with most of your offense and most of the defense coming back, I can see them winning more than 7 games like they did last year. But as far as the 9.5, I have them just under. And I think it just starts with a loss in week 1 at Oregon State. I also have them losing to San Diego State at home in week 5. They lost to them last season. I think that might just be a matchup problem for them. And then I have them losing to Air Force in week 8. They lost to Air Force last year. They got to go to Air Force this season. So I see that as the last loss of the year for them. But I just feel like 9.5 is just a little too high for a team that won 7 games last year and lost a lot of talent from that team. So I have them the under 9 wins.
Yeah, I believe it, Tip. I got them under also. Bachmeier's got to be healthy, and they got a 3-game stretch. San Diego State, Fresno, and Air Force in the middle of the year. That's going to be brutal. So I'm with you. Murph.
I got him under. I got him at 8 wins. I'm not sold on Bachmeier. He's kind of had a lot of hype, and he has not lived up to it, in my opinion. Now, that's not saying that he can't, but he's got to prove it. I think that O-line has question marks. They had a tough time protecting him last year at times. That kind of, ends up causing injuries and so off and so forth. And losing a playmaker like Shakir is just going to be tough to replace him. So I got him at 8.
Grish.
Boys, that is way too high. I agree with you, Tip. Agree with you, Jeff. And I have to stay consistent from what I talked about back when we talked about Conference USA. when they get their ass whipped by UTEP, it's going to ruin their season. So I'm
Pillow
telling
fighters,
you,
baby.
they're going to lose to UTEP at UTEP. And I mean, I think that they'll go to a bowl game. They'll probably win about 6 games, but I think that game's going to shake them up a bit. So got the under, Sprouse.
I like it. Zeke?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's pretty aggressive. You know, anytime you see a Mountain West team, you know, with the odds to win 10 games, I just think that's a little too high. I know they got some talent, but I think it's too much of a dogfight in the Mountain West.
Yeah, that's an interesting line. Vegas knows though, so we'll see. We'll see what happens on that. Zeke, we'll go to you. San Diego State. It's another one that they won 12 games last year. Vegas has them at 7.5. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I do think I say the over on San Diego State. I don't think they repeat the 12-2 last year. They lost their quarterback, but I think they got 7 starters coming back on defense. Their defense allowed 19.5 points per game in 2021, and I think that's big, especially in the Mountain West. They sling it around a lot, and it's big to have a team that can stop as much as they throw the ball around the Mountain West. So they also got a brand new Snapdragon Stadium just a few miles from the beach. And in my small time in San Diego about 4 weeks ago, those people love the Aztecs down there. So it's a great atmosphere. They're coming off a great season. So they're going to have engagement from the fans. Brady Hoke, say what you want about him, but he did go out and get him a quarterback from Virginia Tech. I don't know how that guy's going to play, but I think defense wins championships, and I think that's easily going to get him over 7.5.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Braxton Burmeister, Oregon to Virginia Tech to
Very
San Diego
athletic.
State. Yeah, he's a good player. So if you remember, last year San Diego State, although they won 12 games, we were thinking, man, if they just had a quarterback. So hopefully Burmeister's that guy for them. I got the over. Arguably the best helmets in college football, though.
No doubt.
The Aztecs. So I got the over. Jess.
Looking at their schedule and just seeing how they have to play Toledo, and we're really high on Toledo. It's at San Diego State, but that game and the first game of the year against Arizona, not trying to sound like no duh, but I mean, if they win those 2 games, I think they get the over. However, I don't think they will. So I think they're going to have 7 wins. So I guess I go the under on that. I think they're going to get 7 wins this year.
You think the potato poppers get them?
Boise?
That ain't happening.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point because that's right after UTEP. So, no. I have San Diego State beating Boise State. What are you talking about? I said Toledo and Arizona.
San
Diego State beats Boise.
State.
But I got 7 wins.
I think they beat Arizona, and I think they give Utah all they can handle in that. I think it's week 4. I don't think Utah's – I don't know, where are they, number 3 in the latest polls?
Going to find out. Utah will find out week 1 when they go to Florida. We'll see how good they are.
Yeah, well, we didn't talk about that, and we should have talked about that. The AP poll, I mean, for God's sake, the disrespect. It's even worse than the coaches poll. I think they got the top 22 Power 5, and then they just were like, well, we're going to get some flack. Let's go. What is it? BYU, Houston, Cincinnati, 23, 24, 25.
If we're going to go down this rabbit hole, I don't know if y'all saw it today or not. They were talking about the AP poll, and they had like a 5 or 10 minute segment just talking about Texas not being in the top 25.
Everything.
That dog is that big, and she's barking through the whole house right now.
That's a good point. Like, I got the notification that the AP poll was released, and the very next sentence was Texas left out of the top 25.
And then I'm saying, like, why? And they were blaming it on. They're like, well, they got all these players coming here, and they got a coach from last year coming back, and it was frustrating to me because I'm wondering why they didn't have the same conversation about Cincinnati.
There are so many Group of 5 teams that are better than Texas. But
Texas is,
my dad said, I'm going to throw them under the bus.
4th or 5th best team in their state.
I'm throwing Rick under the bus. I hope he's watching this.
What do you say?
I was sitting there today watching. I was working from their house today, and they're talking about Texas, and I was like, "Why are they talking about Texas right now?" I said, "Dad, do you not realize like Cincinnati was in the playoffs last year and they're ranked 24th?" He goes, "Well, it's because they're not Power 5. That's why." And I packed my bags and I left.
Murphy, have
It
you
is
had a
wh-
chance
that
to
is
see
why,
Wednesday
though.
yet?
It is why. That's why I am.
No, not yet.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. We went off there. Murph, I'll go to you. Do you believe Zeke?
I got him at 8 wins. I do have him over. I think that quarterback is gonna be a big help to him. He's gonna add a passing game that they haven't really had. I think they're gonna be fired up to play in that new stadium, and I got him at 8 wins over.
Tip, did I skip you? Tip, go ahead.
7.5 is just too low. I got them at 8 wins. I got the over. New stadium. That's gonna bring fans. That's gonna bring excitement. The place is gonna be rocking, and it's gonna be nice. And then it's gonna help them win a lot of these games, especially at home. So I just think 7.5 is way too low. So I got the over 8 wins.
Yeah, and Zeke, that's a good point about Brady Hoke. That's another guy, kind of like we talked about Jim McElwain, like these guys that went and did their little Power 5 stint, and they come back to where they were before, and it's like, you know what? I'm in a pretty good spot here, and I can win a bunch of games. And again, I'm not going to get fired if we go 7-5 one time. So good on Brady Hoke. Welcome back to the Group of 5.
Hey, Sprouse, I'm sorry, and I hate to stop the roll, but since we are the Group of 5 guys, I do have a story to tell from the weekend. So this weekend I was at Center Hill Lake on a houseboat with a bunch of rednecks, and as I walk up to the party deck, they I happen to be wearing a salmon colored shirt, and they lean over and they yell, "Hey Zeke, who you a fan of? Who'd you call the football team?" And he elbows his buddy, like, watch this, like he's going to say the Tennessee Vols. And I said, I am a fan of the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders and the Group of 5 teams out there. And he was like, what? But all right, I get you played for the Blue Raiders, but after that, who's your real football team? I was like, excuse me. Are you saying that the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders are not a real football team? He was like, no, I like the Blue Raiders too. But what about your real team? And I was like, the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders. He was like, are you telling me you're not a Tennessee ball fan, but you're from Tennessee?
Should have
And
pissed on
then
that
I
guy.
turned
I was
around.
gonna say, did you throw his ass overboard?
So I'm actually surrounded by them. So they chomping at the bit. And they're like, why are you a fan of the Vols? And I was like, well, let me ask you a question. I was like, actually, let me start. I was born and raised in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. My dad played football at MTSU. That's all I know. Where did you go to school? Where did you go to school? And where did you go to school? And you just tell me, were you in school? I don't think you went anywhere, but let me know. And then he said, one of them said Riverdale High School. The other one said Tennessee Tech. The other one said Middle Tennessee, and Tennessee Tech. And I said, can y'all tell me what the University of Tennessee has ever done for y'all? Because it ain't winning any games in the past few years. And then I hear this girl tells me, well, MTSU sucks. And I was like, MTSU sucks. How many bowl games have the Blue Raiders gone to in the past, 10 years? And how many have the Vols gone to? And by the way, who are you a fan of? She was like, well, I'm a Tennessee fan, but my husband has a box at the MTSU football games. And I was like, what? What are you talking about?
I'm gonna have to go visit that box.
Yeah, what box number?
They're located
Andy
in
Campbell.
But they said that this is their last year. This is their last year to donate to MTSU football because they suck. And I was like, well, they went to a bowl game last year, and by the way, they won it. I was like, but I'm not
they played
sure.
for a conference championship, 3 years ago?
And guess what? But they suck but yet they somehow believe in this fantasy world that the Tennessee Volunteers are a better football team because they're brainwashed and they don't look at it. MTSU is put in a conference. They go out there and they make it to a bowl game. I'm sorry, this team cannot win their conference and or get bowl eligible.
Top 5 recruiting class.
Zeke,
sorry,
you got my
but-
blood. You got my blood boiling right now.
But this is why the 5 of us are on this podcast, and this is why we believe in the group of 5.
I'll tell you what.
Amen.
Yeah, you
These
need to get
ignorant people to bed.
that whole squad there that was out there on that boat. You know, if they can figure it out, you need to get them to come to a tailgate with us. It can be at MT. It can be at Middle. Tailgate with us. Sit with us for the game, watch the game, actually pay attention to what's happening on the field, and then after that, tell us they didn't have more fun. They probably never even been to Knoxville, but that's besides the point. They didn't have more fun hanging out with us, tailgating at Middle, watching that game, more entertainment than they would if they went and sat amongst 90,000 of the other idiots in the state of Tennessee. But I'm pissed. Zeke, you just got me really pissed off. I took that personal.
Sorry to get us off topic.
No, that's good stuff, though.
None of them went to the university at all. Point blank.
Couldn't get in, couldn't hack it, or couldn't afford it. One of the 3. But yet they're diehard Vol fans, baby, brick by brick. Top 5 recruiting class last 10 years.
Every year, baby. Peyton Manning's walking through that door. He's going to be the AD, the president, and the coach, and they're going to win it all. All right, Murph. We know you love Fresno State. Vegas got them at 8.5. Last year, they're 10-3 ball club. Jake Haener, #Haener for Heisman. What do you got?
Entirely too low, Sprouse. Entirely too low. Let me tell you, this is at least an 11-win football team because of Jake Haener, Jalen Cropper, Josh Kelly. That offense is going to be loaded. You have Jeff Tedford back as the head coach. He's a quarterback guru, offensive mad scientist. Their defense is actually going to be improved as well, I think. They got a lot of guys returning in the secondary especially. I just think they're going to have a really good year, and they open up with Cal Poly. That should be a win. Oregon State at home, I think that's a win, and I think they go into USC, Southern Cal, and they beat the Trojans there. Then they got UConn. They got to cross the country to go to UConn. And then I think they're going to be undefeated going into that Boise State game. I really do. So I got them over at 11 wins. On defense, their top 4 leading tacklers are back. So look out, man. Look out for the Fresno State Bulldogs and Jake Haener. Haener for Heisman.
I love Jake Haener. God, wouldn't that be nice? Week 4, Fresno at USC and San Diego State at Utah. I mean, Utah and USC by week 4. I don't know who they played before. They're liable to be number 2 and 3 in the country.
Well,
if these AP writers get at it.
I saw this today. So USC was a 4-win team last year, right? But yet they were, I think, where were they? 10, Tip?
Yeah, 10th.
10th in the country, a 4-win team. So you got a 4-win team that goes to number 10. And you have Cincinnati, who was in the playoff last year, is now at 25. Make it make sense. Somebody explain
it makes
to me.
0 sense, and that is the problem right there. Because at the end of the season, USC's not going to be ranked, but they'll beat somebody at the beginning of the season. And it'll be a good quality win, or somebody beats USC. And it's a good quality win. They beat a top 10 team in USC at the beginning of the year, and it's going to look good on them. And it changes and affects the rankings too much.
Abolish preseason rankings.
Yes,
100%.
What is Jeff's win total? What do you think it's going to be?
11.
I don't know about 11. I mean, I'll take the over. They don't play Air Force in the regular season. At USC, I mean, at Boise. Yeah, I'll take the over. I don't know about 11. I'll take the over. I'm buying it. Go to you, Tip.
I got the over. They're winning 10 games. They're going to be a top 10 team in USC. They're going to win 10 games. I have them losing at Boise State. And they probably drop one that they shouldn't in a conference game. But we're regardless, got the over. Have this team winning the West Division, and I mean they're my pick this year for the Mountain West championship. I mean, they have too much talent coming back. Jake Haener for Heisman.
Jess.
Love Jake Haener. Look, Merce just like say it. Just say it.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
Here's the deal. I know we're running long time.
No, we're good. We actually got
I
plenty
think
of time.
I think Fresno State's one of the best Group of 5 teams out there. I really do. They have a chance. They have the talent. They have everything you could want. If you wanted to be on a Group of 5 school right now, be a player, that is one of my top teams I'd want to be on because there's a chance. Now, I don't forget. People don't forget. I will never forget when we were in Charlotte, North Carolina last year, and I'd see these guys play like complete dog shit against UNLV. And did they lose that game? Or they barely won. I can't remember. I just know that I think we all lost money on that game because we thought it was a shoe-in.
They won 38-30, but it was a dogfight.
It was a dogfight. Kudos to UNLV. How we know that's not going to happen this year? It will happen this year. They're going to get beat by 2 or 3 teams they should have beat, and they're also going to get beat by USC. It kills me to say that because I know they could probably compete with them. They almost beat Oregon last year, but they just didn't come through. Now, are they more experienced? Yes, but USC, all the hype. I know I sound like Big Brother right now. I think USC, they can't afford to lose that game. They can't afford to lose that game. They're not. I don't think they're going to overlook Fresno.
Fire Lincoln Riley after that game.
All that being said, I do have the over. I think they win. I think they win 10 games. There'll be 2 games where I think 2 or 3 games they lose. But they were expected to win. God bless. Stella Artois.
Okay.
Jeez Louise. Okay. I had this Stella Artois.
Now.
Huh?
Man, you are really changing up your beers. Every week you're on a new beer.
Yeah, well, but this beer, I have the thing. I go to the pool.
Let the body adapt.
I go to the pool a lot, and I leave my daggum beers and my Yeti. I leave it up until Friday. Then I'm like, oh shit! And I go and open the cooler up and get some piss warm water. Then I take it out and I put it back in the refrigerator. People say it doesn't change the taste. I swear it does. This is one of them lone soldiers, and it's going down, give me heartburn each time. But I got them in the over 10.
I can't drink Stella out of a can. I don't like it. I like Stella a lot. I remember back in the day. Remember we used to go to Bar Louie for $1 Beer Tuesdays. I think it was Stella every time, or it's $2 imports. Anyway, Zeke, Fresno, you got them over or under?
Yeah, I got them over. These boys are a stout ball club, and they really, if it wasn't for their schedule, I mean, really, they'd have a good chance, and they do. I think they have a chance at being ranked in the top 25, but that would depend on the rest of the Mountain West, which is, hit or miss on that. But these guys are stout. I mean, they've got a shot at beating USC, and I think that, the rest of it, they're pretty much packed with the rest of the Mountain West schedule, and it's just tough to get ranked. But these boys are stout. I like them.
I love the adjective stout.
I was wondering what was so hilarious.
I don't know. He said stout. I was just thinking
this whole Fresno conversation.
He said it like 3 or 4 times. They're stout.
Everything that Murph has already said, I agree with. I mean, these boys got a lot of firepower.
I'm a good salesman.
They're also stout.
Stout. Hashtag stout.
Well, guys, let me tell you about the Air Force Falcons of 2022. Vegas has them at 8.5. Last year, they're a 10-win ball club. They have never won the Mountain West Conference since they've been in it. They've played in the championship one time, 2015, lost to San Diego State. This team, 2022, is winning the Mountain West Conference, and they're going to be 11-0 going into the final week of the season where they play at San Diego State. Guys, all 22 of their offense and defensive starters are either seniors or juniors. 11 seniors, 11 juniors. Quarterback Hazik Daniels is back. Fullback Brad Roberts. If you're an Air Force fan or student watching this, I'm going to go on a little history here for you. Let me walk you down a path. I want you to think about fullback Jared Two, fullback Wes Cobb, fullback Mike DeWitt, running back Chad Hall, Asher Clark. I want you to think about these great backs that have came through Colorado Springs and the Air Force Academy. That's what they've got right now in Brad Roberts. The guy, this guy, 1,356 yards rushing, 13 TDs. This is a fullback, guys. 1,300 yards from a fullback. Yes, they run the triple option. 4.5 yards a carry. And guess what they're going to do to you all game long? They're going to get 4.5 yards a carry, and you're going to play them for like an hour and a half, and they're going to be in and out of there. They're going to wear you down at the altitude. I've been in at that altitude. You cannot train for it. You cannot get used to it. This team, like I said, the only game that I'm worried about is at San Diego State, final week of the year. And the only reason I am worried about it is I think that's your conference championship, and I think the only thing holding Air Force back is if they beat San Diego State. We all know the hardest thing to do in sports is to beat a great team twice, and that's what they're going to have to do. And I think they're going to do it. I'm telling you, look at their schedule, guys. They're going to be favored in every single game this year. They are. If the lines came out right now, they would be favored in every single game this year. Air Force Falcons, they got them at 8.5, guys. This is a 12-win team. I'm sorry. It is. Troy Calhoun gets them over the hump. They win the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. They win the Mountain West Conference. They might be playing on freaking New Year's Eve. That's what I got. I'm open for rebuttals.
They lose to Army. Too much emotion in the game. And that is what gets them. They've got more talent than Army, but Army puts it on them. They lose that. They lose to San Diego State. There's a 10-win ball club right there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let UNLV get a hold of them. We'll get to them.
No.
Wyoming is too big and too bruising. They're going to rough up on those. You know, they say this about the Air Force Academy. They say it's the softest branch in the military.
It
is what I've heard, other than the Coast Guard, but they were disaffiliated.
Hold on, boys. We got somebody calling in live. It's Jason Collins. Looks like he's calling in on the hotline. He didn't like that comment.
Oh, boy. I hope you don't think they're losing to Wyoming. Maybe you do, but Army will be tough. It's a neutral site game. Those games go either way.
It's in Dallas, isn't it? Every year?
Yeah, Arlington.
Yep.
That's a recent thing. They didn't used to do that, but in the last couple of years they've been.
All right.
Okay. Hey, fair take, Zeke. Under, huh? Wow.
Under, baby. Wait, did I say 7? Is it 75 or 8-5?
8.5.
8.5. Oh, man, I just wanted to argue with you.
All that. Now you're looking at it and you're like, son of a bitch, they're winning 12 games.
No, they're not winning 12. I just had to argue against the 12, but they might squeak 9.
It's hard to have him have a take like that and not want to argue it because I'll go next.
Okay.
You're 1,000% wrong on winning 12 games. You know the last triple option team to ever win 12 games? 12 games?
Georgia Tech.
Remember the Titans.
It's been like 27 years since a triple option team has won near that many games. You know why? Because you have to rely on your defense. If you go 1-3 and out and your defense sucks, you're going to get behind. You're not going to be able to come back and win those games. If you get down by 14 points triple option game, it's not going to happen. Now, I know you are keying on Air Force. I know you know triple option better than all 5 of us here. Still R12. Sorry. But here's the deal. I do agree they'll be over. I think they are going to be one of the better teams in the Mountain West, and Fresno State is probably lucky they're not playing them this year. Or are they? No, they're not playing them.
No.
Fresno's not playing them.
Potential in the championship.
Probably the championship, and Fresno will probably study the triple option for 3 weeks and stop them. I think they'll win about 9 games this year in the over. I think they're going to probably hurt a lot of teams, as in like Utah State. I think they'll beat Utah State. So I like your take. I just don't think they'll win 12 games. Like, no way. Fresno State has a way better chance, in my opinion.
Fresno State Air Force's non-conference is it's
pretty cakey.
Well, yeah, because
Colorado, you kidding me?
Yeah, because you got Navy and Army no matter what, and Navy's down. Army's solid.
Northern Iowa.
Yeah, Colorado. could be.
Oh, I don't want to go on record, by the way. I made that 27-year stat up. I was looking the whole time you were talking. I was trying to find the best option teams and records, but I can't think of it. Option teams won 12 games.
No, but how many? I mean, how many teams win 12 games? Not many. But what I'll say is to rebuttal your point about if you go 1-3 and out, you could say the same thing about an air raid that does a complete opposite. The difference is if Air Force goes 3 and out, you've given your defense probably a solid, 4 or 5 minutes of playing time or, of game time rest. If an air raid goes 3 and out, well, I mean, you know how that goes. You run 3 fast screens and it takes 10 seconds off the clock and your defense is right back out there.
I'm very experienced in beating triple option teams. I was fortunate to be against a team that we just beat the crap out of a team by 30 points that ran triple option. They were a Power 5 school. Beat them pretty good.
Georgia Tech, for those of you wondering who that was. Who's next? Murph Tip.
I'll go next.
I'm up that butt whooping.
I'm gonna keep this short and sweet.
Next.
I got them over. I got them at 9 wins. I think they could squeeze out 10 possibly. I just think that, and I know they have a good secondary, but when you get behind, it's hard for them to come back. So I think that's going to cost them a couple games. But I agree everything you said. I think they got a great team. They got a ton of guys coming back, a lot of upperclassmen, and it's going to pay dividends.
Yep.
They're going over 9 wins. They beat Boise State at home, win the Mountain Division, and they play Fresno State in the conference championship game.
One more thing, too, on this is not really a point for why or why not, but these academies are not going to be affected by the transfer portal at all, because after you've stayed for your sophomore year, now you can't leave because then
that's a very good take, Sprouse. I never thought about that.
Yeah, because then you're going to owe the military. At least this is what it was in 2008, 2009. You after your sophomore year, you'll owe the U.S. government 5 years of active service, and then obviously you can't transfer in unless you want to start your college life over, which I'm telling you don't want to do.
Could hurt them in recruiting though, because some guy might say, well, now I'll go to this school and play a couple of years and transfer to so-and-so.
Yeah. And they don't, I don't know. I wonder how NIL works there. I don't know the answer, because I do know that, you're getting
recruiter.
I should go be a liaison for the
you're a recruit. You're recruit. You're out there recruiting folks.
Listen, Troy Calhoun, you're welcome. No, but with NIL, because everybody gets paid, you get a monthly stipend there, and especially if you're from the great states with no state income tax like Florida, you get a pretty. I think when I was around, it was like $800 a month, just straight cash. But so I don't know. But I don't know if they're allowed to get NIL because they're government employees or what. But anyway,
too much time on Air Force.
Okay. Zeke, you think Wyoming is going to be so good, but Jesse's going to tell us they're at 5. Jesse, that's both your teams are all your teams got an even. You got a bunch of push potential here. Wyoming's at 5. What do you got?
I've always been a big fan of Wyoming. For some reason, I don't know why, maybe the colors, just maybe where they're located. Every time Wyoming's on TV, I always feel like they're going to win. But after doing research on them, they were a really good ball club last year. They were fun to watch. They were very physical. However, they lost both their quarterbacks, first and second string. They both transferred. One went to Montana State, and Levi Williams went to Utah State. Talked about him earlier. But they took the Utah State backup quarterback to start this year. Andrew Peasley. He was the backup for the past 4 years for Utah State. But the quarterback's leaving. As big as the quarterback position is, they lost their best player in Isaiah Noir. He transferred to Texas. Now, RIP Noir, I heard today I think he tore his knee or something. And he probably missed out for the rest of the season. So maybe shouldn't have transferred. But he's going to have some weapons to throw to. I'm talking about Peasley with Joshua Cobbs and Trenton Welch. But they also lost their running back star, Xavier Valladay. He's going to Arizona State. So they've lost a lot on offense. They lost a lot. Their O-line's going to be okay because they're usually always good, but they're going to hurt on offense. Their defense also, they got hit with the transfer portal. They lost both their corners. One went to Oklahoma, one to UCLA. Did replace them with other corners, new guys, from one guy from Wisconsin, one guy from Ole Miss. All that being said, when you think of Wyoming last year, besides of Isaiah Noir, you had Chad Muma, who's now in the NFL. It's not the same Wyoming team it was last year. Okay, these guys are going to lose some ball games. I don't think they're going to make a bowl game unless it's a really bad year for everybody else. I got to win 5 games. I got them pushing at 5.
You're supposed to sell us.
No, I'm telling you not to take it.
I'm with you. I agree.
I'm telling you not to bet on the over. Don't do it.
I'm buying that bet, Grish. I'm with you.
They lost way too much.
Murph, what do you think on Wyoming?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I actually got them at 4 wins. I think they're going to have a tough season, and it's just hard to replace all that talent that they lost on both sides of the ball. I'm interested to see this quarterback, though. He's a big dude. A lot of guys are not making comparisons, but similarities because of the size, I think, with Josh Allen. But it'll be interesting to see how he does up there.
Zeke?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with the under. You know, they probably catch 1 win at Air Force, but they are a physical football club, but that's about all they got.
Tip?
Yeah, I got the under as well. I got them at 4 wins. Just it's tough when you lose that many players from the year before. So I have the under.
Key players.
Yeah, they lost everything on offense, dude. I mean, jeez.
Key players.
Murph, San Jose State. They should have been a lot better than they were last year at 5-7. Vegas thinks they're going to be pretty good this year at 6.5. What do you got on the Spartans?
Yeah, I actually got them over. I got them right over at 7 wins. They're getting the transfer quarterback from Hawaii, Shavon Cordero. I think he's going to be a big piece. You know, Starkle got banged up last year. They just kind of had a down year with injuries. But they're getting their 2 bookends back in Cade Hall and Junior Fiheko. I always mispronounce his name, so I apologize. But their defense is going to be good. They got some transfers at the wide receiver to help that passing game, and they got 2 running backs that are solid guys. They'll be running back by committee. I do like their schedule, parts of it, and I think they get to 7 wins. I think they're a pretty good team this year.
I don't like it. I'm going under. Sorry, Jeff. I do like Cade Hall though. Good player. He's gonna have some sacks this year. Jess, what do you think?
Those 2 DNs you're talking about, those the exact same guys from last year?
Sure is. Cade Hall was injured last year, so I think that's why
he's been there for a long time.
I didn't realize that.
I think that's why he didn't leave. But and then they got the 2 transfer receivers from Nevada coming in.
What was what are their out of conference games? I'm just not looking at their schedule right now. Do y'all have them in front of you?
They have Portland State at home.
Auburn.
Yep, Auburn.
That's
At
a
Auburn,
that's a
week
win.
2,
Western Michigan at home.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna do if it was 7 wins, was that or 6? Was it 6.5 wins?
Yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the over. I'll give them 7 wins.
At a ball.
Tip, what do you think?
I have the over as well. I have them at 7 wins. They got a lot of tough road games this year. They got to go to Fresno State, to San Diego State, and to Utah State. Tough games on the road right there. I have them losing all 3 of those, but I got the over on them. I give them 7 wins.
Zeke?
I've got the under, and Tip said it. They got a lot of tough road games. I don't think they catch them all. That's all I got.
I'm going to stay with you, Zeke. You sounded like you were high on the running Rebels of UNLV earlier. Vegas has them at 4.5, which is going to, if you take the over, that's more than double their win total from last year. They went 2-10. What do you think about UNLV?
You know, I'm going to tell you something. Sin City takes your money for a reason, and this is one of those opportunities for them to take your money and put it in their pocket. It is an absolute guarantee that it's an over.
Ooh.
Absolute guarantee. You want to know why?
Why?
Yes.
Tate Martell.
All right. So, I'll tell you this. They can't stop a damn nosebleed. But here's what they can do. And this is their game plan this year. They're going to outscore everybody. All right, they got transfer quarterback Harrison Bailey that I'm sure all the fruitcakes from Tennessee are familiar with. Transfer quarterback from Tennessee, but also transfer from Ricky White, Michigan State. Let me tell you something about Ricky White and Harrison Bailey. Went to Marietta High School together. Harrison Bailey transferred from UT. Ricky White transferred from Michigan State. NFL comparison, Devontae Adams, Derek Carr. 4 starters coming back on the offensive line. Harrison Bailey feels protected. They're going to have to outscore everybody. They're going to outscore some teams. The teams that can't score with them are going to lose. Now, if they can sling with them, it's going to be a tough battle. They're just going to have to outscore everybody. Running Rebels, running the score up, you're going to have to score points to beat them.
So you're saying their defense is non-existent?
It's got a couple of holes in it.
Half wins. So you're taking the over. What kind of win total do you think they're going to get then? You just taking the over?
Well, Jesse?
I'm just curious.
I'm not seeing 5 wins on this schedule, man. I'm not seeing it. I'm going under. I'm not sure if he's going to defend himself, but
hell of a take.
I'm ready to defend.
Who they beating?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Who you got? What offenses aren't going to keep up with them?
Idaho State. Okay, fair. Week 0. Then they're at Cal. Then they're North Texas.
That North Texas game at home is going to be a shootout.
Yep.
Y'all know, I told y'all North Texas is
is
loaded this year.
Yeah,
they're loaded.
No, you're tripping.
I
They got to come into. They got to come into Vegas. The players are going to go out the night before. They're going to get caught on the craps table, staying out late.
Let's
slide
be real here.
into Allegiant Stadium
Friday night before a game.
Yeah,
the
the GAs might be going out, but the players. I mean, what do you think? You think they're going to stay on the Strip? You think they're going to stay at Caesar's Palace? They're going to
stay in Harris. They're staying in Harris.
Dude. Air Force is going to have some problems.
Air Force. Let me tell you something. They don't need to go out in Vegas when they have a Howard Johnson off Academy Boulevard right off the North Gate that they can party at. I'm telling you, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I love
that. No, I think
they might beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame week. What is that? Week 8, week 9.
I think Notre Dame beats the shit out of them. I think San Diego State. I think San Diego State beats them because of the great defense. I think Fresno State probably outscores them just because they can play a little. Like they're not going to be able to stop Fresno State, so it's going to be a possession game. I think they go in and probably smoke Hawaii, and then New Mexico they beat up on those. They beat up on them a little bit. North Texas is a win, and Idaho State.
I'm calling it now. North Texas loses that game.
Why?
Oh,
you're just saying that because I like them so much.
I believe the over.
Mark that on your calendar.
No way.
Texas, UNA. There's going to be some bets amongst ourselves on that.
Oh,
game.
no doubt.
Hey, no question. Tip, have you
Well,
said
Jesse still hadn't paid up from last year. That bet I won.
Well, no.
I did too. The New Mexico State UTEP game, I paid it.
Tip, what do you think on UNLV? 4.5. You agree with Zeke?
I do agree with Zeke. I have the over.
Holy
That's what I'm talking about.
Tip's the voice of
He
reason.
knows what he's talking about. He knows his quarterbacks.
I do. I think the offense is going to be good. I think Harrison Bailey is going to elevate that offense.
You're going to say the over.
No, they're going to beat Idaho State. They're going to beat North Texas. They're going to beat New Mexico, and then they're going to end the season with back-to-back wins at Hawaii and Nevada at home.
Boom.
There's your 5 wins.
The disrespect for North Texas is kind of
it
pissing me off. So I'm going to
taking the over in that game.
Let's go ahead and lay.
You had your chance to speak.
Get the money and the mouths.
I haven't
out
speak yet.
right now.
You haven't speaked?
Let's do it. North Texas versus UNLV.
Oh, who hasn't gone yet? I'm getting so lost on who.
Jesse,
goes
speak.
I'm taking the under North Texas wins. If Zeke wants to have a side $100 bet on that, we can easily do that. That's fine. North Texas beats UNLV. I'm not going to bet.
I don't think there's a side. I think it's laid out there on the table right now.
Table, dresser,
How big a
whatever.
boy are you?
North Texas beats UNLV probably wins like 3 games this year.
Now,
Maybe
are we
3 games.
Okay, so we're talking just straight up head to head.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a North Texas will be favored by
Somebody's going
17
to be
points.
backtracking after UNLV comes out hot, starts throwing that thing
And with
around.
a huge win over Idaho State and then a bye week.
Ain't no
Yeah,
doubt.
coming out hot. Holy cow.
And they put up about 67 on them. Yeah, Christian will be like, well, that game's going to be a little bit closer than I thought.
I don't really know. I don't know anything about
will happen.
I don't know anything about Harrison Bailey. I really don't. I don't know. I probably need to do research on him a little bit. But I do know they had the top recruited high school player from 2019, and the guy didn't do anything. So, or 2018, whatever it was.
Practice.
Is it my turn yet?
Yeah, go for it.
I got him
love
over.
it, Zeke.
I got him over, boys. 5 wins, at least, possibly 6.
Oh.
And I think the biggest reason why is they are playing in the same stadium as the future Super Bowl champion Las Vegas Raiders. And that aura and that juice is going to flow into the UNLV Rebels. They're going to beat
so
North
much credit,
Texas
baby.
at home. Look out for
Just
the running
win,
Rebels.
baby.
Just win, baby.
I'm just glad we spent this much time on UNLV because we may
most
not be
teammates
spending the whole
spoke on all
we
year.
ain't
Actually,
spending
I
a lot of
guarantee-
time when
I
they're
tell you
3
what,
and
if
8.
UNLV's at 5 wins halfway through the season, we need to go out there and go to a game.
Ain't no doubt. That quarterback's going to get hurt, and all of a sudden you're going to see Tate Martell come from the shadows,
He's back.
finish the season on a high note.
Oh, another team at 4.5 tip is the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Let's hear your take on them. Here we go.
This one's a tough one because we know how well Hawaii plays at home, and we know how bad they play when they have to travel. But I have them under at 4 wins. They're only returning 5 total starters from last year. They have a new scheme on offense and also defense. Offense, like Jeff mentioned earlier, quarterback Chevin Cordero transferred to San Jose State. You have a quarterback battle between 3 guys, 2 of them transfers. Joey Yellen out of Pitt and then Cameron Cooper out of Washington State. It's always unsettling to me when you have 3+ quarterbacks battling for one starting job. That just kind of means it's really up in the air and very open, and they don't really know who the starter is going to be. But at the same time, on the flip side of that, the competition brings out the best in everybody. So, and it should elevate all 3 of these guys' games up. So we'll see who ends up winning that starting quarterback position. On offense, they're returning 4 starters. 3 of them are on the O-line. So that is promising for the quarterback. Their top receiver, Nick Mardner, he transferred to Cincinnati. He's trying to get a championship. He's trying to go play in the Final Four with your quarterback, Jesse. So that was their top receiver. That was that's 46 receptions, almost 1,000 yards, and 5 touchdowns that you have to replace. Defense struggled last season. They gave up a little over 31 points a game last year. They're only returning 1 starter. They got a lot of transfers. They're going to come in, and they're going to see some significant playing time. So I could see this year being kind of a rebuilding year for them, and so that's why I'm taking the under. I got them at 4 wins.
Yeah, Timmy Chang is the coach. He ain't putting a helmet on, so I got under on Hawaii. Go to you, Zeke. Let's hear this one. What do you got, Zeke? 10-win team?
Look out.
I mean, the funny thing, the reason I'm laughing is I'm just thinking back to that Vanderbilt bet we talked about last podcast. And it will literally make or break that bet. That first game of the season, you're going to know. Vanderbilt is at 2. They were at 2, and then they bumped up to 2.5, and it's literally Hawaii that's holding them back on that. And
Is there a line on any of those week 0 games yet?
Yes. Man. Well,
I'll look really fast.
Like the spread on that game.
But now it's got me wanting to take the Vandy over after Tip's take on Hawaii. But I will go under. I mean, they've got a win. I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at some projection, and they have them beating Western Kentucky, and I don't think that happens. And I don't see them beating Vandy now. And then they've got a win over Nevada, Wyoming, and UNLV. I don't know. So I've got the under, but I'm curious about that Vandy bet.
I have it. Vanderbilt is favored by 6.5.
Woo!
The over-under is 55.
Take the Rainbow Warriors.
Take them.
Jess, what do you think on Hawaii?
I don't have the stats in front of me, but like when you're looking at Hawaii, I'm willing to bet that the reason their records are so bad, I think the Vanderbilts and the Western Kentuckys that go out to Hawaii, those are the games they win. But that the conference, the coaches know how to prepare to go to Hawaii. They're the ones that probably smack their ass, every other season. So I'm going to take the under on them. I still think they beat Vanderbilt, but I'm going to go under for Hawaii.
Murph.
5 win, boys. Over. Starting with Vanderbilt. They're in a new stadium this year. They're fired up to play out there. Timmy Chang is coming in. He's going to reinstate the June Jones system, and he's going to be throwing the ball all over the lot. They might not play defense, but if they can score 70 points, you can beat them.
They played in that stadium last year, didn't they?
Did they?
Didn't have anybody in it. Yeah, they played in it last year. They just couldn't bring any
COVID.
Well, I don't think
that-
it was like a high school. They played in like a temp stadium last year.
I didn't think I don't think it was done.
Yeah,
I
because
see.
they
I saw
weren't
it
allowed
was
to
a
have.
nice stadium, and they didn't have any fans in there.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to have fans.
But it was a Saturday night, 11 o'clock. I was probably cross-eyed, so who knows where they're playing.
Either way, they're going to be fired up to play.
They
And
were on
Timmy
the
Chang.
road.
Timmy Chang's going to get them 5 wins.
They're
Playing
playing
at
at
San
San Jose
Jose
State. You know their field's blue, by the way.
Oh man! All right, reel it in, Murph. Colorado State. We're gonna have Coach Mummy on later in the week to talk about the Rams. They're at 5.5. Murph, what do you got?
All right. I got them over, and this is actually, if I had to pick a dark horse for this conference, it's going to be Colorado State. They basically took all of Nevada's roster with them. They took all their coaches, which I don't really blame them. Like, the kids loved playing for them. They wanted to go. You got the transfer portal, so go with them. They got Clay Millen coming over. He was Carson Strong's backup last year. They got Torrey Horton, Melquan Stovall, and they got at least 5 other offensive players that transferred with them from Nevada. I think they're going to pick up right where they left off. They got Dante Wright, who was a receiver that for Colorado State last year is a pretty good ball player. So, I mean, Fort Air Raid is going to be throwing it all over the yard. I got them over at 7 wins. Freddie Banks is the new D coordinator. He's going to bring that 4-2-5 style of defense to Fort Collins, so I'm interested to see that. That sometimes can cause problems with the different looks and bring in blitzes from unusual spots, for your guards and tackles to try and pick up. So I think that might give them a little bit of an advantage. But yeah, I got them at 7 wins.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got them going over as well. Yeah, I mean, you look at how good Nevada was last year. So, yeah, and they took a lot of the production to Colorado State. I got the over. Jess, what do you think?
Excellent take. I agree with everything he said. I got him over 7 to 8 wins.
Zeke?
I like the over. I like him at 6 to 7. They struggle September 10th with a tough team coming into town, but other than that, if you don't know that fight song by heart, that was Jesse Grisham, and that was
And actually, I will be in Fort Collins that weekend.
He will be.
So if you're out Friday night, Fort Collins at one of the, I heard there's like 100 breweries in Fort Collins. So let me know where to go. Hit me up on the old Twitters.
Yeah, so the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders come to town for Colorado State September 10th. That's what we're talking about. But other than that, I like your take, Murph.
Tip. Sorry.
Love the take, Murph. Got the over. I got them at 6, maybe 7 wins. There's a few toss-up games in there that I have them losing, but I could very easily see them winning. So take the over.
All right, yeah, Grisham, another
it.
even 5 team here.
Mhm.
Nevada, the Wolfpack team we just talked about a lot. Lost a lot of their players. What do you got?
Coach Ken Wilson, his first year, he's coming to an offense last year that threw the ball for 4,511 yards, 38 touchdowns, Carson Strong. Awesome. Talk about disrespect, too. I mean, they had such a great offense, and then they feel disrespected because their coach just left. Usually a coach leaves a group of 5 and they go to like another Power 5 school or somewhere dominant. They just went up the road and they went up to Colorado State. And I got to tell you, the 5 players left at Nevada are pissed. They are pissed off, and they are going to play with their heart, and they are going to give everything they got to show everybody they're still a good team. So me saying that, they lost everybody pretty much. They do have some guys coming back on defense. I'm not going to just crap on Nevada. They got like a really good D-line coming back. And Don Peterson, remember the name? We've been talking about players to look out for, and I think that guy, Don Peterson, for Nevada, makes a lot of tackles, makes a lot of plays at the end. But that being said, they are hurting, boys. They lost a lot of guys to Colorado State, a lot of guys to Power 5 schools, and then other schools in the conference. I have them going under. I got them winning 4 games. They'll squeak out four wins, but it's not going to be the same Nevada team you saw last year, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think this is a 3 or 4 win team. Carson Strong, Romeo Dubs are not coming through that door. I do like the running back Toa Tawa. Little to use Zeke's vocabulary, stout little guy, 5'9", 215. But yeah, that's a 3 or 4 win team, unfortunately. Murph?
Yep. I got them under at 4 wins. Look out for them.
Tip?
I'm right there with you, boys. I got the under, and I have them at 4 wins.
Zeke?
Yeah, I got the under. I think that's a little bait out there from Vegas. So, got the under.
Yeah, last but certainly not least, New Mexico Lobos, 2.5. That's just that's a tough place to be very good, New Mexico. And then plus they kind of got shafted with some politics. The COVID year, the governor, I believe, of New Mexico banned all college athletics. So they played in Vegas that year, but everything got all weird. Recruiting got weird there. They're 2.5. I mean, it's gonna be tough. I think this is a 2-win team. I don't really have any good points. They're just not very good, unfortunately. Anybody got anything, Jess?
Same.
Yeah. Murph,
same boat.
Tip. I think everybody with me. So we'll finish up the show just real quick. Who plays for the championship? Who wins it all? Y'all know I already said Air Force. I got Air Force over San Diego State in the championship game. Jesse, what do you got?
I don't know who's going to be in the championship. I just know that Fresno State's going to win the championship.
All right. Tip?
Fresno State is going to play Air Force, and I have Fresno State winning the championship.
Zeke?
So I know we wanted this to be quick, but I wanted to let you know that in 2023, the Mountain West is actually dissolving their East and West, and they're going to all independent. So best record plays for the conference championship. And that's interesting. I say that because if you look at the West this year, the West is a lot stronger, in my opinion, than the East. So, or what they call the Mountain. And to answer your question, even though I've been shitting on Air Force all day, I do think Air Force plays
UNLV versus Hawaii. Let's hear it.
I do think Air Force plays probably Fresno State or San Diego State. I guess I got to pick one. I'm going to go with the San Diego State Aztecs against Air Force.
I like it. I'll tell you, not to start up another argument here, but I actually think the Mountain's better than the West, at least this year. I mean, your top three, the West, it's San Diego State and Fresno right now, with Nevada being down. But you got Utah State, Air Force, Boise, Wyoming, and then Colorado State.
It's gonna be very close there in the Mountain. I mean, you got those 4 teams you just mentioned, Sprouse. That I mean, I could honestly see any one of those 4 teams playing in the championship game.
So yes, but I mean, you've got your two conference champions in the West, and I feel like that, we all think Boise's kind of a bust this year. So that's where I see
fair.
That's my argument. But yes, you're fair with that assessment.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. Murph, do we still have you, or?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm having some video problems, but
what do you got?
I got Fresno State and Air Force playing in the championship game, and I got Fresno State winning it all.
I like it, and this was fun. We got a little off the rails there for a little bit, but thank you guys for listening and watching. You guys make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Group of 5 Guys. And then hit group5guys.com too if you're looking for some merch, some swag to wear to some of the games this year. We got hoodies, T-shirts, tank tops, all that, and you can get them in your team colors, so don't feel like you got to wear black or white or whatever. Stay tuned. Matt Mummy later in the week, Coach Sean Clark, and a Sunbelt preview next week, and some gambling advice the week after that. Group of 5 Guys, we're out of here. Good night. Thank you.